Once at the school, my teacher told me that I have to make a speech completely in English for the next day. I was stunned. I was only capable of making sentences with the verb to be, and the teacher wanted me to make a completely discourse in English. I didn't know how to do it, and it was a tremendous disaster. First, my pronunciation was utterly bad. I said my rope was washed? Horrible. Second, I used many words incorrectly. I used the word rope as clothes. And finally, when the teacher was telling me what I did wrong, she used many complicated words that I didn't understand. I passed my English class, but with a 7. Then I started to research more information about English rules and little tricks in English. Since then, I've learned a lot, and especially for pronunciation, word part, and word parents. Hi everyone, I am Damian, your learning English teacher, and I'm going to teach you 3 lessons to grow and strengthen your use and understanding of your vocabulary in English. First of all, the pronunciation of words. As I said at the beginning, I struggled to learn English at the school, and not just me, but my friends too. For instance, we had no idea how to pronounce things like ed endings. We pronounce everything that ends in ed in the same way. It was so confusing, and we ended up just guessing and making a vast number of mistakes. So, let me show you 3 simple rules that will utterly help you to fix that confusion forever. The first rule, the soft sound. It says if the present tense form of the verb or the verb base ends in a voiceless sound, then the ed ending sounds like t, t, t. Let's take the word surf. Now, touch your throat. Say it again. Surf, surf. When you pronounce a word and at the end your vocal cords don't vibrate, that means it's a voiceless sound. Now, say it again. Surf. Nothing vibrates, right? That's a voiceless sound. So, surfed and in a t sound. Try it again. Surfed. See these sentences and notice how the pronunciation change in present and past. I surf every weekend and I surfed with my cousin yesterday. The second rule, it says if the present tense form of the verb or the verb base ends in a voiced sound, then the ed ending sounds like the, the. That's a hard sound. Let's test it with the word scream. Please, touch your throat again. Say scream, scream. Feel that vibration at the end? That's a voiced sound. So, screamed ends in a D sound. Screamed, screamed. Notice how in these sentences the pronunciation changed. Every time my sister sees a spider, she screams so loudly that the neighbors think something terrible happened. Last night, she screamed so much we thought it was an emergency. Our last rule, the ed sound. It says if the present tense form of the verb or the verb base ends in a t or d sound, then the ed ending sounds like if and adds an extra syllable to the word. Look at this example. The word ghost, which ends in a T sound, becomes ghosted. We add an extra syllable and pronounce the ed sound. Look at these sentences with ghosted. Try to pronounce it properly, you too. She said she loved horror movies, so I ghosted her. Figured she enjoyed the experience. Okay, Let's see what people on the street knows. Okay, Damian, am I with you? Good morning at the studio. Here at the SEC in the morning, we have many students. Then we are going to ask them if they know how to pronounce the ED endings. Ok, hola amiga, ¿tu nombre es?
Alejandra.
¿Puedes decir esta palabra de aquí, por favor?
Surfet.
Muchas gracias. Hola amigo, ¿tu nombre es?
Jair.
Ok, ¿puedes pronunciar esta palabra? Está en inglés, ok.
Surfet.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Jacome.
¿Puedes decir esta palabra de aquí, por favor?
Surfet.
Ok, ¿y tú? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Disculpa.
Luis Palacios.
¿Puedes decir esta palabra, por favor?
Surfet.
Okay, how we see this day, people don't know how to pronounce surfed, and surfed is pronounced with T because it ends in a soft sound. Back to the studio. Thank you, Damian. Okay, that was certainly an interesting dynamic. Now that you know how to pronounce the ED endings properly, you won't make that mistakes again. Word parts. Once I went on a date with a girl, and at the end she spoke in English and said, "You are so unbearable." I didn't know what unbearable meant, and I thought she loved the date, but I still wanted to know what the word meant. Then I started to breaking down, and I discovered she hated me. I was woefully sad. To figure out what she said, we need to know what words are usually formed by roots, prefixes, and suffixes. But what are those? I am glad you are asking. Let's see what they mean. Root. This is the main part of the word. It carries the core meaning, like bio. Prefix. A part added at the beginning of the root to create a completely new word, like sim. Suffix, a part added at the end of the root to create new ways to use the word, like cis. For instance, the word symbiosis, let's break it down. Sim is the Greek prefix and means together. Bio is the root that means life. And cis is another Greek suffix that means a process or a condition. So, symbiosis means a process where two life forms live together. Let's use it in a sentences. My sister and I live in a perfect symbiosis. I cook and she does the dishes. Sometimes. Let's look another example. Microbiology. Micro is a Greek prefix that means small. Bio is the root that means life. And logy is the suffix that means the study of. So, microbiology means the study of small microscopic life forms. Let's review the meaning in a sentences. She loves microbiology. Her pets are bacteria in a jar. Remember, if you see two words with the same root, they're probably related in meaning. Tremendously helpful, right? Now you are able to figure out what a word means, even if you never heard that before. So, what does unbearable mean? Let's break it down. Un mean not, bear mean tolerate, and able mean capable of. So it means not capable of being tolerated. Oh, she definitely hated me. Okay, do you see this beautiful tree? Comparing this tree with words, the roots can be the vast number of roots in English. The trunk would be the prefixes and suffixes, and in the top are the words that are already created. See this tree of the bio root? There are many words like biology, microbiology, symbiosis, biography, and biodiversity. Okay, let's practice word parts. What do you think the word disapproval mean? Not in agreement with something? A dish made with rice? A polite compliment? Type your guesses in comments. Okay, let's break it down. This, that means not, and approval, that means in agreement. So, it's not in agreement with something. Word patterns. Once I was in an English class and the teacher said the capital of Ecuador is Quito. The only word I understood was capital because it was a cognate, exactly the same in Spanish. That's a good example of a cognate. But what is a cognate? A cognate is a word that looks or sounds similar in two different languages, like English and Spanish, and has the same or nearly the same meaning. This is because many modern languages have the same roots from ancient languages or a mix of them. There are three types of cognates. First, the perfect cognate. These are spelled the same way and mean exactly the same thing, only the pronunciation might be different. Examples: animal in English or animal in Spanish, real in English and real in Spanish. Our next type of cognates is called near perfect cognates. These mean the same and can be converted from Spanish to English or English to Spanish by applying a simple rule. However, the rules are not applicable in every case. Examples of the rule can be a rule that says that the words that end in ans change to ansia, like ambulance to ambulancia or distance to distancia. Another unimaginable helpful rule says that if the words end in id, change to ido, like acid to ácido or fluid to fluido. False cognates. These look similar and sound similar, but mean something completely different. An example of that can be actually, that in Spanish can be confused by the word actualmente, but actualmente means now, and actually means in Spanish in fact. Understanding how to use unrecognized cognates can help you remember and guess new words more easily. Okay, let's see if the people in the street know about cognates in English and Spanish. I am with you, Damian, again. Hello again to the studio. We are in the SEC again, and we are going to ask if they know about cognates.
Esteban,
Ya, dime, ¿qué crees que significa esta palabra?
actualidad, o sea, como significa que lo que estamos viviendo en este momento, no sé.
Ok, muchas gracias. Hola amigo, tu nombre es...
Germán Vanegas.
¿Qué crees que significa esta palabra de aquí? En español, claramente.
Actualmente,
Ya, muchas gracias. Hola amigo, tu nombre es...
Kenny Rodríguez,
Ya, ¿podrías decirme qué crees que significa esta palabra?
actualmente.
Ya, muchas gracias. Hola amigo, tu nombre es...
René Guzmán.
¿Qué crees que significa esta palabra de aquí? Actually.
De hecho.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias. And how is it today? People don't know how or what actually mean, because actually means in fact and actualmente means current or currently. Okay, back to the studio with you, Damian. Oh, Damian, you're really helpful. Wow, people in the street know that a lot. Nah, just joking. Now you know cognates that are really helpful when learning a new language and in life in general. Let's put all of these three ways together and practice. Which sentence use the correct pronunciation of the word laugh in the past tense? I laughed at the joke, I laughed at the joke, or I laughed at the joke. Correct answer B. Rule: the verb laugh ends in a voiceless sound, so the ed sounds like t. What does the word unfriendly mean based on its part? A person who loves to make friends, a person who is not friendly, a type of social event. Correct answer B. A person who is not friendly. Break it down. Un mean not, friend mean someone you like, and li that mean characteristic of. Which of the following English Spanish word pairs are not true cognates? First, animal or animal, assist or asistir, and color and color. Correct answer. B. Assist and asistir is a false cognate. Asistir means to attend, not assist. As I said at the beginning, when I first started learning English, everything felt like a big confusing soup of words and sounds. But now, thanks to some fun little tricks, patterns, and a bit of nerdy word magic, I'm here teaching you. You will go from saying things like my rope was washed to confidently using words like unbearable, disconnected, and symbiosis. So, don't go your English learning journey and stick with me to grow your vocabulary one powerful word at a time. If you like the video, please subscribe, like the video, and comment below how many words did you learn. Thank you, and see you next time.